All right, our next speaker, friends, is someone who is used to working in the background. But in the past few weeks, we've been seeing him a lot on TV. He's actually very close to me. We're sort of cousins, but not really. And of course, I work with him a lot in our work in microfinance. Rapa Lopa has been involved in development work in the Philippines for over 2 decades. In the 80s, he immersed himself as a community organizer in rural villages. And for the past 16 years, up to this August, or maybe until now, no? He served as the executive assistant to former President Corazon Aquino, who's also his aunt. Friends, in the past weeks, siya po yung naging punong abala ng mga napakaraming mga pangyayari during Tita Cory's wake. And today, we'd like him to share his thoughts with us on Tito Ninoy and Tita Cory's legacy through their advocacies and, of course, their dream of a reimagined Philippines as well. It's been a very emotional time for him. And as he laid his aunt, his boss, his idol, and friend to rest, we ask him now to share some thoughts. Friends, Mr. Rapa Lopa.
Before I begin, gusto ata na itong dalawang to paiyakin ako dito. No, but really, it's really been very difficult the past couple of days. Really, after we buried Auntie Cory, wala na, bigla na lang kaming kailangan pumasok sa opisina, kailangan ayusin yung mga hindi nagawa nung buong linggo na yon. And yun nga, grieving has been postponed actually. So I don't know whether this moment will actually give me some moments of grieving. But anyway, let me just say that when Bam texted me 2 days after the burial, and he was asking me whether I could speak today. Immediately, actually, sinagot ko siya without even thinking about it. I sabi ko, sige, sure, I'll do it. And then, back of my mind, sabi ko, tama nga ba itong ginawa ko? Kasi alam mo, I think when sina Bam and Mark were thinking about this forum some weeks back, months ago, no? In fact, they asked me to be part of the brainstorming group to find out how can we really tackle this whole reimagining the Filipino, no? Kasi si Mark also in one Facebook entry said, is there anybody there thinking of what do we want to see in the next 20-25 years, no? Looking back, looking forward, no? And sabi ko kay Mark, madalas ko nang iniisip ngayon yan the last couple of days, or last couple of weeks actually, or actually last couple of months. I'm a classic midlifer. You know, at some point, alam mo, sinasabi nga nila, pagdating mo sa, yan, okay, I'll reveal my age. I'm 46 now. When you reach 46 or close to 50, pero medyo sinasabi mo, medyo you've reached a certain point in life and you're now assessing the remaining half of your life. So what do you want to do in the remaining years of your life? No? At the same time, ayun nga, just a year ago, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of the assassination of my uncle, of Ninoy Aquino. And the question we asked ourselves during that time is, 25 years have passed since that ultimate sacrifice. How come we continue to actually ask the same questions, the same problems we need to confront? Bakit bumabalik? How come we can't seem to change those problems that were prevalent during that time? And kaya talagang nag-midlife ako, sa totoo lang. Talagang sabi ko, ilang taon na yung ginugol natin. Hindi lang ako, ang dami, si Larissa, maraming mga aktivista, marami nang namatay para talaga ibalik ang demokrasya, palakasin ang demokrasya. But still, many of these things seem to be not enough. Why? No? Why? And when you begin to ask yourself questions like, and then you feel that you're now in the last half of your life, ano nga ba dapat gawin? Kaya sabi ko kay Mark, mahalaga talagang itanong yan. It's very important to ask the question, what do we see 25 years moving forward? No? And the question, siguro the question that I wanted to ask myself as I approach that last half of my life is basically the input or yung parang the message of the Ninoy and Cory Aquino life, no? That when both of them represent this whole idea of living and dying for the Filipino, no? So then we ask the question, in the next 20 years, is the Filipino worth living and dying for? Sure, but before I do that, let me just ask people here, randomly. What are you ready to live for or die for? Not necessarily the Filipino. Can I have volunteers? What are you ready to live for and die for? Family? What else? What else? For God. What does that mean? For a better world. Okay. Who mentioned family? What made you say that? Mm-hmm.
If it's necessary for me to die for them, then probably I'll do that. I'll do that thing.
Okay. Other things, other thoughts? Sorry? Your career. Okay, your career. Ready to live and die for your career. Huh? A proper career, meaning success in you want to live for a career that gives you fulfillment. That basically, okay. 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 So alam mo, merong ganun eh. May mga parameters na, I mean, it's very interesting that you mentioned God, no? Because I'll go to that. I'll go to that later. But like, you know, when you say, I'm ready to live and die for my family, for a career, for a job, for whatever. Pag tumama yung paghihirap, doon ka nasusubukan eh, di ba? When difficulty approaches you as you try to actually achieve a certain thing, as you want to try to achieve purpose, sometimes when that so-called comfort zone is hit, all of a sudden we begin to wonder, as I think Tricia asked, do we have the courage to actually confront those things, di ba? The problems that basically will come your way, will we be ready to actually confront this? And if it's so ugly, it is so bad, minsan ang hirap mahalin eh, di ba? Minsan ang hirap to live and die for that thing eh. Di ba? Yung mga lumiligaw, sinong lumiligaw dito? Di ba mas madaling lumigaw ng medyo may itsura kaysa yung hindi pa? Hindi, sa totoo lang, di ba? Pero, and when you look at the country, Paco mentioned kanina yung culture shock ni Paco. Parang, di ba, parang ang sarap mahalin yung lugar na maayos kaysa sa lugar na hindi maayos. It's ano eh. That's why you look at the images, for instance, of poverty. And the images of corruption, di ba? And all of these things. That's what's prevailing in this country right now. So if you just look at that situation, these two images, just these two images, of course Paco had a lot of other images earlier. Are you ready to live and die for this thing? They did. And it started with their love story, di ba? It started with two people saying, mamahalin kita hanggang sa kamatayan. I'm ready to live and die for you. Diba? In sickness and in health, till death do us part. Diba? And it's that love story that began this love story of the Aquinos with the Philippines, with the Filipino people. It's that love story that eventually brought Ninoy to seek political positions, to seek government and political positions, di ba? That hopeful, sa loob niya, sa loob ni Ninoy, sinasabi niya, I think the best way I can serve my country and my people is to run for office. And he really wanted to do this really fast, no? He was the youngest mayor, youngest vice governor, youngest senator. He was so driven. He was so driven because he knew in his heart that the best way to love these people, to love this country, is through public service. And as he strove to do that, of course, he continued to rely on the love that Cory Aquino continued to give to him. When he was arrested, when he was imprisoned for 7 years and 7 months, the only thing that kept him moving, that kept him fighting this thing, was actually Cory Aquino. Kung iniwan siya ni Cory Aquino, I mean, there have been so many stories that in the family na sinasabi nila, kung wala yan, kung wala si Cory, wala na, he's a broken man. He could have been really just devastated. And ayun nga 7 taon tiniis niya, 7 taon tiniis niya na makulong doon sa Fort Bonifacio. And there was one moment he was brought to Laur Nueva Ecija where ayun nga, he really didn't even know where he was. And there he saw that there was a need to find more reason why I should continue staying in prison for 7 years and 7 months. And of course, the one that gave him strength is the love that Cory Aquino gave. Then eventually, of course, as he would say, as he would narrate, eventually, he began to realize that the love of Cory Aquino is not just Cory Aquino. It is a Cory Aquino who decided that this man is worth living for, worth loving for, and worth dying for. And when you begin to think about people like Cory Aquino and Ninoy Aquino saying, I'm going to do this no matter what. I'm going to do this even if it means, sacrificing my family life, sacrificing all of these other things. You begin to see that there's probably a higher purpose. You begin to see probably there is something more than just loving a Ninoy, than just loving a Cory Aquino, and just loving a Filipino people. And I think that's where loving God is. Loving God comes in. It basically was born out of this realization from these two people that they have been so blessed in spite of everything. That they have been blessed to have each other. That they have been blessed to have children who, no matter what, stuck it out with them, did not complain. That feeling of being blessed is what brought Ninoy and Cory Aquino where they are. Hunger strike, I mean, he challenged death. 40 days, he did not eat, only drank water. Why? Para raw sa Pilipino. Para makamit ang kalayaan ng Pilipino ulit. And of course, August 21, 1983. 3 years in Boston, happiest moments in their life. After 7 years, 7 months, they finally found family life. But after 3 years, sabi niya, hindi, tama na, balik na ako. And of course, they really debated on this matter. They really, kailangan ka pa ba talagang umuwi? Baka naman nakakalimutan na ng Pilipino yung sakripisyong dinaanan mo. But he said, kung di ako uuwi, hindi ko malalaman kung nakalimutan nila nga nila o hindi nakalimutan. Of course, the rest is history, di ba? It was the biggest funeral that we've ever seen. When Ninoy Aquino died, Cory Aquino's love for Ninoy Aquino was transformed to Cory Aquino's love for the Filipino people. Again, the question that Auntie Cory asked herself, itutuloy ko ba ito o tama na? Itutuloy ko pa ba ang laban ni Ninoy? O daling ko na lang ulit siguro yung mga anak ko sa Boston, masaya naman kami roon eh. Should I bring my kids to just go back to our private life? I mean, Ninoy has died. No. I will run for the presidency. I will run for the presidency. So she becomes president. And after becoming president, she went through 7 coup attempts. Di ba? Kung ano-anong batikos ang sinasabi na hindi tama yung mga ginagawa niya, kung ano-ano. But in the end, yeah, sabi niya, I will finish my term after 6 years because I truly believe that there are other people that can do a better job than I can. But mine was to really just bring back that democracy and bring back that freedom that Ninoy promised the Filipino people. And I think I've done my part. But of course, after that, she did not stop. You know very well that after her presidency, she began working with non-government, with the Benigno Aquino Foundation. And that's when I began to start with him. That's my Howie Boy pose. I think those who, of course, you really do not know me, but every time we go on rallies, I'm the Howie Boy. Dahil when people begin to, But basically, this work that I have had with her was really for me the greatest gift that anybody can wish for. I mean, to be given the privilege to witness the life of a woman that means so much to many Filipinos. Okay, Bam, you got what you wished. It's really a very rare privilege, and I wouldn't, I mean, for me, and it's also only because of that I feel much really needs to be done. And everything, that this woman has shown me, has taught me, clearly challenges me to be more than what I have been. You have to remember, I'm looking at the last half of my life. And when you begin to realize how much blessings you have approaching this last half of your life, you begin to wonder, how much more can I really give? And when you see now a woman who has loved, who has dedicated her life to the Filipino people, being reciprocated in this way, you begin to wonder, ano ba nga dapat nating gawin? Ano nga ba ang lesson ng buhay ni Cory Aquino? What is the lesson of the Cory Aquino legacy? When you see people like that, even young kids who barely know her, probably know her as the mother of Chris, say, "We love you, Lola Cory. We thank you for making us proud to be a Filipino." And you see women like that, I mean, randomly, flashing your L sign. When you see that, you begin to wonder, what is that legacy? And I think the legacy is the love story. The love story that started with Ninoy and Cory for each other, then Ninoy's love story with the Filipino people, which was then taken up by Cory Aquino. Diba? That I am ready to give everything and anything because I love you. with all this euphoria that you're seeing, you can see this very young kids. We have some of them here today, flashing this L sign. Anong ibig sabihin yan sa inyo? Ano? Bago ginamit yung laban, anong ibig sabihin yan sa inyo? Di ba? Loser. Di ba? Major loser, di ba? Whatever major loser, di ba? Ganun yan eh. Di ba? Kasi ganyan ginagawa ng mga anak ko sa akin. Whatever major loser. Pero nung mga araw na yon, ibang kahulugan ng L sa kanila. Bumalik yung kahulugan ng laban. Ano nga ba yung laban? Ano nga ba yung laban na sinasabi natin ituloy natin ang laban ni Cory, ituloy natin ang laban ni Ninoy? Kasi alam mo, sa masusunod na mga araw, pagkatapos ng mga masayang araw na yon, ng masayang araw ng paglibing natin, alam natin na yung mga kabataan na yan, marami sa kanila, walang matutuluyan, magtatrabaho, mag-iigib ng tubig dahil wala silang tubig, walang gamit para mag-aral, ganyan. Diba? Babalik yan sa pang-araw-araw na buhay, ganyan ang mangyayari dyan sa mga kabataan. Of course, nung nilibing natin si Tita Cory, talaga ang saya-saya natin lahat. Laban, tuloy natin ang laban. Pero nga ba ibig sabihin ng laban? Again, I go back to images. I go back to the images of what is real in this country. Ang tanong, kaya ba natin mahalin to? Is this worth living and dying for? In the Time magazine article about Anticory, the one that was published recently, this was the last paragraph that si Father Tito Kaluwag shared this to me, and it really made me think. So that whenever the country appeared to be in a crisis, Cory Aquino rose above the bureaucratic procrastination that had always bogged it down, reminding her people that they once astonished the world with their bravery and that they could do it again. But Filipinos must now take stock. Whom will they march with now that their saint has gone to meet her God? Medyo napaisip ako dyan. And yung nga nakakalungkot isipin, oo nga no, wala na siya. But then again, I realized, if Cory Aquino's legacy is continued to live on in our hearts, we have to find other people whom we can march with. And let me share you some of those people that I have discovered. Together with Mark and Bam and with other midlifers like me. Well, Bam and Mark are quarter thereabouts. We put together a company called Microventures. Microventures is a company where business objectives are actually meshed together with very clear social objectives in a very deliberate way. What we wanted to do was to create business models that will actually redound to social impact, to very clear social impact. And one of the first projects that we decided was to put together this project called Happy Noy. Happy Noy is our branding, the branding that we have given sari-sari stores that have mushroomed all over the place. Because we felt, ito yung hanap buhay ng pangkaraniwang Pilipino. Maraming ganito. Sabi nga, Bam, how many percent, or how many more or less do we estimate? About 600, yeah? There are about 650,000 of these sari-sari stores all over the country. And problem, usually, is ayun na nga, as you go down the distribution chain, ang laki-laki na nung tubo na papunta hanggang umabot do sa retail store, to the point that the base of the pyramid consumer actually is the one that's spending so much more than people who can actually afford. I mean, kung isusuma mo yung total per cost unit, no? So we decided, hey, why don't we find solutions to these things? Or why can't we find a way to actually look at that value chain, that distribution chain, and use, Bam and Mark are the top minds of this country, the top young minds of this country. And you have, they will tell you the stories that when we started this thing, yung mga nanay, ito yung mga kamarcha din namin ngayon. Yung mga nanay ng Hapinoy. Halos 4,000 na yan, ano Bam? 4,000 na ng mga nanay yan, nakikimarcha sa amin. Kasama rin namin sa marcha ang Smart Communications dahil binigyan din nila kami ng suporta para mabigyan ng panibagong hanap buhay itong mga nanay nito sa pamamagitan ng pagbenta ng electronic load. At marami pa kami ibang iniisip, no, para mapaunlad yung hanap buhay ng mga nanay na yon. Maraming kwento. Yung isang naalala ko nung simula pa lang namin ginagawa ito, kinakwento nila Bam at nila Mark, na yung isang nanay sabi nila, dati akala lang namin taga-utang lang kami ng pera, ngayong nalagbigyan nyo kami ng Hapinoy. Parang ang pakiramdam namin talagang negosyante na kami. Parang pakiramdam namin, parang yung may-ari ng Jollibee. Kasi parang may franchise eh. Parang yung ganun ba yung dating na may karatula na pare-pareho. Tapos nakikita nila, marami dun sa paligid nila, merong Hapinoy sign. So para silang kasama sa isang komunidad na pare-parehong naghahanap buhay at sinusubukan paunlarin ang buhay nila. Ito pa, isa pang grupo. Ito hindi naman ako nakikimarcha, nakikitakbo. 46 years old na ako, pero matibay pa ng konti ang tuhod ko. Nung tinatag namin yung I Am Ninoy, when we started the I Am Ninoy campaign last year, we said that we wanted to get younger people to find the Ninoy in themselves. In others, to find the hero in themselves in their own way. And dito sa isang nung nilabas namin ito, una of course ang impression, ang I Am Ninoy ay yung mga t-shirt lang na pinagsusuot natin, no? Pero alam mo, yung mga t-shirt na yan, nakipagmarcha din kami sa mga retailers. Sinabi namin doon sa mga retailers, alam nyo, kung pwede, gumawa kayo ng mga I Am Ninoy t-shirts at sa pamamagitan ng paggawa ng I Am Ninoy t-shirts, if you can actually sell this and allocate a certain percentage of whatever you sell to a charity of your choice, maybe, even as we try to appeal to the consumerist mind of our young people and the fashion, their passion for fashion, maybe we could have done something in their own small way. And based on our latest data, we're about 1.4 million. 1.4 million have been raised by these different retailers for various charities in this country. Now, itong grupo naman na ito, sabi nila, we love running. And running is a craze now. In fact, it's even bigger than badminton. Who are runners here? You should join us. You should join us. Anyway, what these runners did, what these people did say, why don't we organize ourselves into I Am Ninoy runners? And when we run together, maybe we can use our group as a way to raise money. And to raise money for a very specific cause also. And that's where we tied up with 5775. 5775 is a program that tries to reverse the education crisis of this country. Based on their study, majority of our kids, or the grade point average of our grade 6 students going into high school, when they take the test, is 57%. That's the kind of literacy that we are producing actually right now. Now, to reverse that, to at least just put it into a passing grade of 75, they saw several things that needed to be done. From grade 1 to grade 2, they found out that about 19% of grade 1 students actually do not go to grade 2 because, not that they were dumb, but because they were just so hungry. No, gutom, malnutrition is the basic fundamental problem from grade 1 to grade 2. And later on, they tried to find out how much will it cost for us to actually feed this child or to reverse that malnutrition situation. They discovered that it only takes 1,500 pesos to feed a child for 5 days in a week for a period of 6 months to reverse the adverse effects of malnutrition. What's 1,500 pesos? From grade 2 to grade 6, ang problema is our usual problem of textbooks or yung information, reference. This group put together a group of experts that put together a set of 3 workbooks, one for math, one for English, and one for science. And the cost of each workbook is 100 pesos. So to give a child a set of 3 workbooks for 1 school year only costs 300 pesos. As I think about it now, I feel guilty because I just ate a 300 peso lunch earlier. You know, ang daming pwedeng gawin di ba? And in your own very simple ways. We can march or we can run together and try to reverse this education crisis. Another group. Because of this whole I am Ninoy thing, sometime in early this year, we got an unsolicited email from a group called Philippine Stagers Foundation. They said, you know, we have this musical we produce. It's entitled Ako si Ninoy, which is the translation of our campaign, I am Ninoy, no? Ako si Ninoy. They told us, you know, we want you to endorse us because we want to perform and we want to show this to as many young Filipinos as possible. So that's what happened. Sabi nila, can you endorse us? Sabi ko, teka, sino ba kayo? Who are you? I mean, Philippine Stagers, who? And of course, I went on to ask, where are they? Who are these groups? Who is this group? Sabi nila, actually, they're from Balik-Balik, Sampaloc. Sabi ko, Balik-Balik, Sampaloc. Saan yun? Where is Balik-Balik, Sampaloc? So anyway, cut a long story short, I told them, can you just ask them if they can schedule, if I can schedule a visit to their place? Just send me a map and then let's see what they have to offer. So I did. I went there, balik-balik. It was the pinaka, it was a very, very, how would this guy? It's a very cramped place. It's a very cramped place in Sampaloc, Manila. In fact, as I was entering the road where the building where they were located, I was approached by a tanod, a guy that siguro somebody working in the barangay, no? And then said, "Sir, dito ho kayo pumarada. Park your car here." Sabi ko, sige. Sabi niya, "Wag ho kayo mag-alala, sir. Hindi naman ho mananakaw yung side mirror niyo dito." Because really, I found out that the place is notorious for side mirror theft, no? So anyways, okay. So welcome to Balik-Balik. So I went up to the 4th floor of the building, and I was met by this cast of 40 young students, and most of them from schools like San Beda, Adamson, Letran, Jose Rizal. Not the Arneo ones or the LaSalle ones, no. But you know, young people, and sabi nila, we have banded ourselves together. What this foundation does pala is every summer they hold free summer workshops, free theater workshops, no? And they train these young people who have this passion for theater, or passion for the arts. And whenever they train them, they eventually end up with a production. And for this year, the production is Ako si Ninoy, no? So it's cast of 40, and then sabi ko sa kanila, sige, can I listen to what you have to, ano? So I thought they were just gonna sing a few songs, no? Wow, they performed the whole thing in front of me. I mean, the place is probably just this immediate area where the 4 posts are, no? That's already their studio. And like when they were performing, like it was this close to this is me, and they were performing as close as this one. They were singing their hearts out. And really, I mean, as I was watching, I was just really, sabi ko, sa kayo nagtatago? They gave the performance of their life. And you know, after seeing that first performance, it brought me to tears. First, because you know, they were tackling very specific themes that I felt were the same things that I was asking myself. How come the same problems continue to exist today? because they were attacking the Ninoy Aquino, and they related it to present-day Filipinos, how these present-day Filipinos are coping with life, and in spite of the hardships in life, they actually go beyond themselves and actually become Ninoys in the end. And it just brought me to tears. After the play, I was just crying and crying and crying. Not as bad as now. Well, yeah. So I just kept on crying. And then after that, sabi ko, part of me feels so sad that pare-pareho pa rin yung nangyayari, we still have the same problem. But the other side were actually tears of joy. Because all of a sudden, I saw these young people singing with so much passion, acting with so much passion, values that I felt were the same values that Ninoy and Cory wanted to get the young people to know and to live with. And since then, we've actually brought them around. They've performed in Meralco Theater. In fact, they also performed right here. We got a couple of people to watch them, and they have been getting rave reviews. And you shouldn't miss them. We're going to announce again the next dates of their performance. You should not miss them. They're called the Philippine Stagers Foundation. That guy who looks like Ninoy is Vince Tañada. He's the head of the group. And what they did in the several performances that they've had in the past, which they will actually do here, is all the proceeds of the funds that they will raise are actually going to scholarships. They have been giving scholarships to some of their cast members as well as other students. So other than making business and using theater as a passion, they're actually helping other people. Again, simple ways. Again, being Ninoy and Cory in your own way. This is another story. I mean, I feel I wanted to tell this story because this is the most, for me, the most nakakapiga talaga ito eh. Sometime last year or 2 years ago pa ata ito, my brother Jim, who's my older brother, was approached by a Jesuit scholastic through Father Tom Green, who asked him if we could help this young boy. This boy is Cesar de la Cruz. He was 19 when the scholastic approached us. And his problem was, he got into a sport accident. And he was playing basketball, he fell hard. And he was paralyzed from the neck down. And because of that paralysis, he couldn't actually breathe. And that's why he's attached to a ventilator the rest of his life. So he was in the orthopedic hospital, and ayun nga, they were renting a ventilator during that time. So they asked us, can you help us raise money, or can you help us buy a ventilator so we could bring him home and take care of him at home using our own ventilator. So ayun, magic of email, magic of Facebook or whatever. My brother sent us an email. We're 9 in the family, so sa amin na lang medyo meron na kaming mariraise. And then of course we sent it to friends, etc., etc. Cut long story short, yes, we were able to get him a ventilator. So Cesar de la Cruz. This other girl, this little baby, is Hannah Cordovis. When we launched the I Am Ninoy campaign, her parents, Carlo and Joanne, wrote us an email because they saw that we were getting retailers to actually put together merchandise, and ayun nga, asking them to donate a portion of the merchandise to help other things. So anyway, he wrote to us. He told us the story. The problem of Hannah is that she was born with a congenital problem, that when she's asleep, she doesn't breathe. It's a neural thing. I don't know what, I can't forget now what the real disease is, but that's her problem. Therefore, Hannah is, like Cesar, is also dependent on a ventilator, especially whenever she's asleep. Otherwise, she'll die. So again, the same story. Hannah is renting a ventilator. It's costing them an arm and a leg. But when we actually found out about it and I visited their place to talk to Joanne and Carlo, I discovered they were hitting about a little over 100,000 a month to actually maintain the situation of Hannah, no? Not to mention, of course, their own livelihood. And Joanne and Carlo are actually very young. They're just about 30. They were former employees of, I think, Fujitsu. They're both computer programmers, but they were forced to resign from their jobs because they had to take care of Hannah. They had to be 24/7 attentive to Hannah's needs. No? So, since they were not getting any salary, walang pay, they, of course, relied on people to help them defray the cost. Of course, family was there, etc., and family and friends. And, you know, in the course of this thing, both Joanne and Carlos just felt so blessed na ang daming ang tumutulong sa kanila that they decided, we have to give something back to them. And that's when they started making rosaries. They started making rosaries, both the full rosary and bracelet rosaries. And when they decided to do that, they called us. They asked us, can we make I Am Ninoy rosaries? That's what I'm wearing now. That if ever, whenever we sell I Am Ninoy rosaries, we contribute an amount. This is actually all of 100 pesos. We contribute a portion of that. Of course, they have to cover their cost of the beads and the nylon and whatever. Whatever is left is donated to the fund that they need to maintain Hannah's needs. No? And you know, sa loob-loob ko nung nalaman ko, sabi ko, ilang rosaryo kailangan nilang gawin to actually buy a ventilator? Kasi hindi naman mura yung ventilator. So again, power of Facebook, power of multiply, power of email. I wrote about it, I wrote about the case, and immediately another friend, Kathy Gobaya, picked it up. And Kathy writes so much better than I do. And she writes for the Inquirer, and of course she has also her wide network in Facebook and in Multiply. And before I knew it, there were so many people who were saying, sige, we'll give our share. And eventually somebody also wrote, you know, I can source the ventilator in the States, it's cheaper. So look, everything just happened like that. Finally, we got Hannah her ventilator, but of course, they're still racking expenses of about 60,000 up to now. But still, we were able to get that ventilator and be able to now help her. But that's not the story. That's, I mean, that does not end. The story does not end there. Just recently, we got an email from the sister of Cesar. My brother got an email again from the sister of Cesar. And she said, alam nyo, ang laki ng pasasalamat. We thank you so much for all your help. But can we still ask for help? My problem now, the sister said, is that I need a job because we cannot also afford the expenses that are needed by Cesar. No? So can you help me find a job? Of course, the other part of that is her mom was also, they discovered a growth somewhere in, so, parang nangyayari bang mundo dito sa pamilyang ito, no? I mean, and they were just figuring, where will this all end? But still, ayun, she was so thankful. Sabi niya, pero kahit papaano po, kung anong matutulong, sige. So again, email, Facebook. We just basically told their story. And all of a sudden, I got 3, 4, 5 inquiries. Say, can you send me the CV of the sister so we can find a job for her? Then later on, we found a doctor friend who apparently has a hospital in Bulacan because they stay in Bulacan, who said, you know, we can help her in our hospital in Bulacan. So now we found out, without really us planning, that the father of our friend apparently is the surgeon attending to Cesar's mom. You know, ano nangyayari yan? Ito pa ang masaya. When we wrote the email, of course, Carlos sees the email. Carlos sees the email of Cesar wanting, needing help. And Carlo wrote to us this email. Sabi niya, hi Rapa, I'm just waiting for the text reply from one helping Hannah out with the oxygen. because they were getting donations for oxygen. Eh. So sabi ni Carlo, let me get back to you, baka they can also help. Then he goes on to say, from our end naman, we want to help this brave family with some of their medical supply needs. You have to remember, they're still racking up 60,000 a month. This is Carlo and Joanne. But then they're ready to share. They're ready to give part of their supplies to help this other kid. And look what he wrote. Thanks so much, Rapa, for giving us this opportunity to help. We have been praying for chances such as this. Is the Filipino worth living or dying for? I don't know. Before I end, let me just ask some of the kids here. Because I noticed we have kids here. Kay matakot. Hindi ito quiz. Gusto ko lang tanong, ano ba ang pangarap ninyo sa buhay? Or kung siguro, ano ba gusto nyo maging paglaki ninyo?
Architect.
Okay.
Engineer. Psychologist. Psychologist.
Doktor? Meron bang presidente ng Pilipinas dito? Kayo? Engineer? Okay. Engineers, architects, psychologists. This is your new generation, ladies and gentlemen. These are the Filipinos that are dreaming of a country that can give them the opportunity to be what they want to be. Are we ready to live and die for them? Thank you very much.